Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It is episode 62 of the 5 Minute Major Podcast STL, presented by Across the Board Games and partnered with Gateway Sports and Skate STL. Hope everyone's doing well. The Olympics have started. That's kind of the main topic of this podcast. And then we're obviously going to dive into some Blues stuff. It almost feels like the off season with this long of a break, but possible trades and all that, as we've been doing for like a month now. But let's just hop right into our live sponsors right here. Across the Board, we've mentioned it many times.
Many times.
They're the best.
They are the best.
They provide the best high quality board games in the area. You can visit them at West County Mall, Frontenac Mall, and Crestwood location off Watson Road. Say Josh and I sent you. They'll treat you like family. Go to their website at shop.atbgame.com. And if you subscribe using your email right now, you get 20% off your first order. Josh, I just realized I took that from you.
Hey, It's all good. It's all good. I'll hop into our next one, though. So if you love sports at any level, there's only one place you need to be. Gateway Sports covers it all. Preps, college, and pros. Real coverage, real voices, real passion for the game. From live shows to podcasts. Gateway Sports connects you to the region like nobody else. Proudly powered by First Form and recalibrate.com. Visit gatewaysports.net for every level at one gateway. Lastly, we will wrap it up with our buddy who is skatestl.com. Augie is running a great business over at Skate STL. Continued success, building healthy habits, long-lasting memories for all ages through skating and doing all activities around STL. If you want to get out, roller skate, you want to have him come to your school, hit up Augie, and he will be the guy to do it all for you. Reach out to Augie and go to skatestl.com.
Yeah, and shout out his partner, Brandon Religa, as well, who's based in ATL. I think Augie just visited Atlanta recently. I don't know if they're going to do the whole Skate ATL thing, but if they do, they're going countrywide, then coast to coast. Seriously, he's doing like something that no one else is doing.
Yeah.
And it's a
great.
good, healthy habit too. So reach out to them. Also, we are joined by our good friend. I think this is the third time he's been on. But we brought him on just to kind of reel us in with prospects and more Blues talk. And it's always fun just chatting about hockey with Mr. Mike Meyer. A round of applause.
Yep.
Come on.
How we doing?
We're good. How are you doing? How's everything going over there at Blue Notes Rising? You keep writing articles there. You're on STL Sports Hub. You're just blowing up over there. You're taking the hockey world by storm.
I am busy, man. That's the goal. Is I want to be able to just do one thing here at a time, and then I'm coming for Lindenwood hockey, and then I'm coming for anything and everything else. So no, we're doing good, man. Just trying to stay busy. Right now is just a really good time here, like with the Olympic break. I think you alluded to the fact that it almost feels like it's off season. So this gives us a good chance to take, a quick little 10,000 foot overview. How are they performing? What does the trade deadline here look like? Really give a good chance to be able to do some really good deep dive analysis. If you're into that, feel free to be able to read some of the articles. Some of it might get a little nerdy, but that's what we got to work with.
It's great reads. It has great facts behind it. And I mean, there's no better one to go to. And you've been with us since day one, helping and supporting us. And we can't thank you enough. And we are pleased to have you back on. But that being said, let's jump into our hockey talk. We'll kind of jump into the Blues first, just out of the gate. We were kind of chatting about stuff, but let's talk about our prospects and where it kind of stand right now. And I know the big one that everyone wants to talk about is Justin Carbonneau. Seems to be having a pretty good season, and I think we need some firepower coming over to this team next year. So how do you kind of feel about Justin right now?
I am loving what we are seeing out of Justin Carbonneau here so far this season. He is on pace for a record high amount, be able to surpass here 40 goals. He's at 39 here as of right now. And this is a guy who is on pace, I believe, for 54 points. If my web browser wants to be able to end up loading up those stats here for me, I'm going to have to go to my phone because it's not able to work. So that's okay. Got to be able to pivot here while we're just talking about this. But he is he's showing a lot of good depth and good signs. And the thing that I love here is that you're starting to see more progression from him on the defensive side of his game. That was, I think, one of the biggest things that he wanted to focus this season, and I believe one of the biggest reasons why he still continued to stay in the QMJHL. It was just an environment that he was familiar with, a coaching staff he was familiar with, training staff, everybody, and it just gives him the chance to continue to grow, not just as a skater, but it continues to grow here as a goal scorer, as a leader, just again, an environment that he's familiar with, and that, these coaches, they know where his weaknesses lie, and they know how to be able to fill up those gaps here as best as possible.
Yeah, I think we're excited to see him, and I've watched a couple of his games, and it's really fun listening to the French announcers and trying to keep track of everyone. So that is always a heck of a time. But he's definitely elevated his game, and I think we're seeing him rise to the occasion, in my opinion, and develop into that full circle player that we kind of need him to be. But that being said, I think Blues fans also have to have a realistic expectation. He is still going to be coming in at a very young age into the NHL. And we have to understand some guys flourish, but there's going to be learning curves. And it's not like he was a top 5 overall pick that you're just expecting him to just fit right in. It's going to take some time, and he'll find his way. And I think he will be a contributor next year, but that's the name of the game. You got to learn on the fly.
Fans may or may not like this, but I could absolutely see where Justin Carbonneau starts the season with the Springfield Thunderbirds. It's not a knock against him. I think it just is a huge testament to the amount of depth that the Blues have on the wing, including the guys who have already been paying their dues, your Kaskimakis, your Dylan Petersons, who are still earning their stripes in the AHL, who are more than capable at this point to earn their way up here, be able to earn a bottom 6 role here in the NHL. They're just waiting for their time. They just are. And if this means that, hey, we're going to sell off a couple of veterans potentially here at the trade deadline, maybe a sneak peek here, what's to come. And then, we're going to be able to promote a Kaskimaki. We're going to promote a Dylan Peterson, be able to fill in here to those bottom 6 roles here moving forward, maybe even next season. And then it just, you just keep it churning. Just keep the prospects churning and just let them just grow and develop. And then, these guys just start to learn here at the next stage. And for most of them, they need the NHL time.
Yeah.
It felt like it was kind of on pause for a while there because we did have a lot of veterans coming in and out, and the Blues are kind of known for bringing old veterans in on really, really short contracts, like at least from the early 2000s into the early 2010s. But now it's finally coming to fruition of like the developing players are going to get the chance.
You mean you don't want Jamie Langenbrunner to come in? Like,
hey, I did make a joke that, man, this team could use a Jason Arnott about right now to just come in and be like, this is how we're doing it, and it's a non-negotiable. Like, you're either gonna do it this way or it's not gonna work.
But Langenbrunner's a 2-time Cup champ, though. So,
that's true. That's true. The next hot topic guy that everyone's kind of talking about, and another guy that I think a lot of Blues fans are expecting to be here next year, is Adam Juracek. And he seems to have really elevated his game. He had a great World Juniors. He's having a great season with Hamilton. So, I mean, he's got 13 goals, 28 assists, and he's a plus 24, and he's playing like heavy minutes for this team. Is this a guy you think could also make that step to the roster next year, or do you think he's also a Springfield candidate that needs to get a little time in the AHL and then work his way up?
It's going to depend what happens with some of these vets, because I think he's more than capable to hold down a third line pairing role in the NHL here tomorrow. But that being said, is that the best for his development? Because, like you said, like he's putting up a ton of points. I mean, darn, the guy's on a 2-game pointless streak here right now. Darn, sorry. But he's on pace here for 20 goals, 62 points in 56 games here in the OHL. Just an absolute stud, who is just going back and forth between the Bulldogs' first and second pairing, and then just getting top power play minutes. So I think this is a guy who could absolutely earn his way in. But again, you've got a couple of those other guys who are potentially going to be sniffing at some time here to earn their way here to the NHL. The defensive pairings, though, the defensive depth is just not as deep as what it is here at the forward position. And so that's where a talented guy like an Adam Juracek absolutely has the inside track here to be able to earn his stars and stripes, be able to just make his way on up and just call it. But I do think that the Blues tend to be a little bit more cautious when it comes to their defensemen. And so that's where I think that they might also say, hey, just to ease you in here to the pro game, we're going to give you maybe like at least a month or two down here in Springfield, see what you do, see what you think, and then just go from there. If he's thriving, then that means, hey, if Matthew Kessel's still here with the team, then maybe Matthew Kessel gets dealt and then Adam Yurchek comes up, or there's an injury, or, there's a whole lot of scenarios that you could be able to do. But Adam Yurchek, I think, is absolutely more than capable to be able to take a role tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do you think Logan Mailloux being here and then getting signed to that 1-year extension is kind of the blocker for him, at least for next year? Like, does it really truly depend on what Mailloux does? Because if he is brutal, then at least they might give Yurchek a look, I'm assuming, but they probably don't want Mailloux in the minors for
and
more than a couple games like they did this year anyway.
Yeah. And I don't think, especially for Mailloux's psyche, I don't think you can send him back here to the minors.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a block because they also play two different styles of games.
Okay.
Mailloux is a little bit more of an offensively driven style player, where Yurachek is that almost like a combination between a Pietrangelo and Parayko. He is that 200-foot game player, but I think you may see some offense start to come from him a little bit earlier on than what it did here with an Alex Pietrangelo. But I think he might be a little bit more defensively sound here than that. So I don't think it's necessarily a block because they play the game two different ways. Now, that being said, Logan Mailloux needs to kind of figure that out. But I think that Jim Montgomery also needs to give him the opportunity, even just power play too. Give him some runway, give him the opportunity, and just see what this kid does. Because right now he's not doing anything poorly, and right now, like, if you're not hearing his name, that's great, because like I don't think he's doing anything poorly. The stats don't show that he's doing anything poorly. The eye test says so. So why not give him some PP2 time? Just see what happens.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those players that I think when we get to the trade talk, I think it's going to be rise to the occasion, because I think we're going to talk about some defensemen or a defenseman that potentially will not be on this roster come the trade deadline. And with that, it's the question mark, are they going to give him that leash? And I think if we're selling, like I think we're all thinking we're going to, you have to. It's much like the year that when they brought Bolduc up that 1 year, when we had sold off all these players, and it's like, hey, you're here. You're going to play. It doesn't make if you make mistakes. You got to grow. And this is the best way to learn. And I think you're going to have to do that with him.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a bad thing to just start now. I mean,
no,
if we really want like a top 5 pick to keep stinking it up, I mean, the Rangers are literally tanking. And the Canucks just can't. There's no way they're going to win another game. So if you want a top 3 pick, you just have to be as bad or worse than them. And why not just let the kids play? I mean, Josh and I talked about it last pod. Just put the kids together and let Fowler go back with Parayko. Like, just reorganize it again and see what happens. And whatever happens, happens. Because I think I agree that he needs the chance. And I think he's got skill to actually produce offense when there's an extra man anyway. So
yeah. And it's hard to remember too that Logan Mailloux is only 22 years old.
Yeah,
the kid is only 22 years old, man. Like he has 42 NHL games underneath of his belt here so far this season, roughly 50 games here in total. Like, you can't tell me that the book here on this player at 50 games in the NHL and at 22. Come on. Again, that being said, he has shown a lot more confidence here lately. I want to be able to see that offensive swagger that we saw from him when he came back from Springfield. Yeah. That's the only bit of things that I want to be able to see. But, Jim Montgomery seems that he's giving him some more runway, 15 minutes here or so that he's averaging in his last 5 games. So that's not bad. It's better than the 10, that he was getting beforehand. So we're trending in the right direction here, at least.
Yeah. So with kind of segueing into some of our other prospects, I'll kind of open this up to you. some prospects that Blues fans they might not think of, because I think when you ask Blues fans, what prospects are you excited for? It's always Carbonell or Adam Yurchik.
Yeah.
What would be your top 3 other prospects that Blues fans should be excited for or be trying to follow along? I know we have some players over in the KHL. I know we have some players in the OHL. We have youth. Kaskamaki, I know, is one of those guys I'm excited for here in the future. It's just growing and developing as a player. But who are you thinking are some other guys we should be excited for?
So I think in terms of defensemen, Korozmailov, he was over at the Blues training camp here just this past summer. He's a guy who is, again, young. He's under 25 here right now. He's playing second line minutes here in the KHL. Love his defensive responsibility. This dude, just a mammoth here of a player. I'm trying to just get his stuff here pulled up here as of right now. He's not going to be a point producer, but he's absolutely a guy who is going to be just that defensively responsible type of a player. Not to mention, he's a mammoth of a tower. He is 6'5" right now, weighing about 180 pounds, but he's going to be able to add some bulk here to his frame. But he's a 4th round pick, and then again, like that's okay. But he's got 2 points here, like right now here in his last 5 games, but he has logged in total 84 minutes over the last 5 games. Pretty solid, again, at 22 years old. And for those who don't know, it's very, very hard for kids to earn ice time in the KHL. Just in Russia in general, they do not like handing over ice time to kids at all. And so the fact that he's 22, he's earning second line minutes and some PK time here as well, really, really good sign here for him. And I'm hoping that the Blues can be able to bring him over, because I see a top 4 defender here for the Blues here in the near future. In addition here to that, I'm really, really liking what we're seeing here. I'm going to stick here with some defensemen. Lucas Fischer. He was the former captain here for the Sarnia, seeing he got traded to the Sioux Greyhounds. He is playing paired up here right now with Chase Reed, who could be a potential Blues draft pick here come if the Blues are drafting here from the top 5, which would be interesting to see them two both being line mates here right now. He is right now, just with the Sioux Greyhounds, has 2 goals, 16 points in 20 games. This is a guy who, again, he's earning top pairing minutes here in the OHL. I think he's going to be able to earn a bit of a bigger sniff here of the AHL. Last year, he played 3 games with Springfield. Wasn't anything overly exciting, but I think that he's going to be a potential. If he can be able to round out some of his defensive game, again, top 4 defender, but I think, the floor for him's easily just a third pair, very, very comfortable third pair defenseman who can be able to chip in here in some offense. If there's a forward that I can be able to point here to, let me see here. The jury for me is still out on Tomas Mercic. He is one of the youngest guys right now here on his team. He lit the world up in the WHL here right now, but he just had his first multi-goal game here in the NCAA. But again, he's one of the youngest players, but he's earning top line minutes here in the here with Colorado College. He's got 9 points in 26 games. I really do like him. I like his shot. But it's tough because a lot of guys, you have the jury out here right now on them because they're in a bit of that transition period. And so I'm cautiously optimistic with several of them. And I'm liking the fact that several of these guys are coming up here as defenders. The unfortunate part here is the fact that none of them outside of Juracek are really going to be, they're going to be a first pair defender. They're going to be this, you're talking about the number 4, 5, 6 guy here in your defensive pairings. And that's the only downside here to the Blues lot.
Yeah, that's I was going to say, because I had Thomas Mercic on my list, and I think it's the give and take. We've seen a lot of these players that tore it up in juniors that have made this transition to NCAA hockey. And I think a lot of people are taken aback by the numbers are a little different than they were expected. And I think a lot of people forget it's hard. Junior hockey it's hard. It's a very competitive world, but college hockey is a whole other beast because it's more physically developed men that you're playing with at that point, much like in the KHL where you're playing with more physically gifted men that are just harder to play against. And I think Mercic is kind of experienced that growing pains right now, but also developing. But
yeah,
we'll
if
see
it's a good sign here for
out.
him. Yeah, if it's a good sign here for him too, though, he is continuously deployed as that left wing 1.
Yeah.
So like the coaching staff really, really likes him. They trust him enough to be able to put him here on the top pair, and he's consistently just getting deployed, in most situations. He's a very trusted kid. But again, I think he's the second youngest player on his team. So there's a lot of veterans that he has to make way for and be able to just prove himself over and over and over here again, that he can be responsible enough to be trusted over all of these vets who have been here for 2-3 seasons at this point.
Yeah. All right. Segueing from our prospect talk, the biggest conversation that many Blues fans going into this Olympic break was who is going to be on this team come trade deadline. We saw the first domino fall, and that was Nick Bukestad. Mike and I were talking in the pre-talk that honestly, not a bad return for what Nick Bukestad was for this Blues team. I don't know how you feel about it. I know this prospect has some interesting qualities. I mean, he was a second-round pick, kind of been a career AHLer, but maybe there's some untapped potential there.
Yeah, Thomas Bordeleau, I like what we see here from him. Again, on paper, he looks fine. I don't really care too much here for his size, 5'10", 181 pounds. Like, the kid's got to be able to prove himself here just a little bit more. But he's not that far off from actually being an offensive contributor. He came in, he was with San Jose, 65 games. This is 22-23, 22 goals, 41 points in 65 games. Pretty solid here for the young kid. Follows that up here. He played 27 games here in the NHL with San Jose, 11 points. And then he's kind of just tapered off. And I think that he is just a byproduct of a system that he just needs a change of scenery. And maybe the fact that he's coming underneath of Steve Ott, he's coming into a team who's trying to be able to work together, be able to figure some stuff out. He can be able to play alongside of other talented players here like Dylan Dubé, Matt Luff. Theo Linson here is back here on the defense. He's got some of the other like younger kids that he can be able to just kind of like rally around. And again, maybe just the change of scenery will just kind of kick him in the butt and just say, hey, like, I got to kind of step some stuff up. I don't see a huge NHL future here for him, but I'm more than happy to be surprised because, again, the offensive talent is there, but I just don't really see him topping out as more than maybe like a third liner.
Yeah.
Which for Nick Bukestad, a third liner plus a pick, I'll take it.
That's how I kind of felt. I didn't expect them to get that big of a return, especially for a guy that's had some injury problems this year. And I mean, you basically flipped a guy for a pick, and I'll take it, especially when we have minimal picks, it seems like, after trading a lot away or with the offer sheet. So it's a good return. Yeah. I think it's exciting to see that. I think they're going to be willing to move on from some guys. Also, I think you needed a roster spot for Otto Stenberg come post-Olympic break.
Correct. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
He's done more than enough to earn it.
Yeah, totally agree. It's interesting why the Devils would even make that trade. I really don't have an answer besides they just are really brutal right now. They're just really underperforming and they're injured and they just need guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know too much about like their injuries, but I know at this point getting a veteran trusted center who can be a bit successful here on the faceoff dot, that's valuable. Yeah. That's valuable. And even if you're just choosing just to scratch him and he just rides the press box train, then that's just what he does. But again, he is a trusted veteran who you can be able to at least like what I thought he was going to be. You can be able to insert him up and down the lineup and be this trusted guy. Throw him out there on the penalty kill, get his big booty out there and on the power play and just stick him right in front of the net. Just do what you can and hopefully that it all works. Unfortunately, it just didn't work in St. Louis.
Yeah. All right. So we can kind of start off with some trade candidates. I'll start with a simple one. Oscar Sundqvist. How are we all feeling about him getting moved? What are we thinking there?
He's never leaving. Poor guy. He'll sign $900,000 deals here until he retires.
That doesn't mean that you can't ship him out right now, get a little bit of a return, and then
get him back.
Bring him back. And then bring him back.
Yeah.
I don't see how he stays on this team. I just don't. I'm sure that somebody's willing to be able to pay something for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
he's on
not
a
gonna be
team
much,
friendly
and
deal.
maybe he's packaged.
I was gonna say he's only making 1.5 million. He can play the wing. He can be a fourth line center for you, and I mean he plays in penalty killing. Just the guy that everyone I think loves in a locker room. I think it would be sad for this locker room, especially in the period we are. But I think if you can get any value for a lot of these players, you got to move on from them. Mikey, you can go with the next guy.
Well, I just wanted to say that maybe like someone with $1 million in cap space will just take him for fun for like a late round pick. Like San Jose is just, they're kind of fighting to make the playoffs. Why not just add another guy, another vet? They have 1 million of them.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. It would be nice to be able to get something for it, but unfortunately, he's still young. Like he's only like 32, which is crazy.
He's 32 with the body of a 60-year-old.
I know that's the issue. It's like if he didn't get hurt so much, he'd probably still be a little more serviceable. But
he brings that veteran experience, though. He brings the playoff mentality. He brings the mentality of a guy who's going to stay on the ice and work with the kids and do all the stuff. Like he is absolutely a PR's dream.
Oh yeah,
and a development coach's dream type of a player. So and I think that's absolutely, it's the intangibles that he also puts on that you want to have him in the locker room for.
Yeah, agreed. Josh, your list is really interesting. I didn't really read it until we started. You have Cam Fowler on here, which is kind of crazy.
I do.
I don't personally. I don't think he's going anywhere, just because I feel like it was promised to him that he would be able to just get the term and retire, like stable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Imagine if they never re-signed him, though.
That's
right.
He would absolutely be up there as a tier 1 trade candidate. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. If he was still stuck in Anaheim, or
if he was here,
like if he.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If he was still here, because like they did not need to re-sign him in the preseason like they did.
Right.
I still don't understand why they signed him when they signed him. Even if he wants to be here, great, cool. I want you to be able to just go out. I want to be able to make sure. It's not that I don't trust you. I just wanted to make sure of like how we're going to fit here this year. We've only got a handful of games that we've seen here from you last year. Just want to see how things go here this year. Make sure that, it's going to work for both parties.
It felt like just almost like more Band-Aids, more control for things that seem to be falling apart. Just like, he had a great year, and Doug was like slapping you a contract and making the fans happy because you're playing great, basically.
I mean, props to his agent that got a deal done immediately, because I mean, we saw the regression this year, which there's been regression on all of our players. So, but I mean, he's still technically on his contract from Anaheim. So that's why I'm saying he has the modified no trade deal right now. So you could move him if he is willing to go to one of these 4 teams. That being said, I mean, he's still only making $4 million this year. And then he's going to be making 6.1 the next 3. So I don't know if teams long-term could afford that, but I don't know. So it was just one that I thought would be an interesting topic of talk.
And I blame part of his struggles on the system. Switching from zone
he's
to
not
man.
He's not a man-to-man defenseman.
And I also blame it on him having to play with Logan Mailloux.
Having to babysit Logan Mailloux.
If he was with Parayko playing 22 minutes a night, then we'd be like, oh yeah, Fowler's great. He's only a -8.
even just put him with minus, with give him something a little bit more to be able to work with.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah. And that goes back to what we were saying before. We're just let the kids play together, and then you just swap the top 4 with whatever works.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
Go from there. But now I don't care. Now you just lose. So.
All right. Next guy here. Let's go to P.O. Suter. How are we feeling there?
Okay.
I think he's getting traded.
Trade them all, but
I think he's a serviceable center.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If I really, really wanted him to work out in St. Louis, because boy, that just fit the mold of what the Blues were looking for,
Yep.
and it just didn't. It just didn't work. But that being said, I could see a fit for him in Minnesota, just as a valuable third line, guy who can be able to make things work. I could see it working in Utah. I could see it, you talked about San Jose. Okay, ship him off to San Jose. Ship him off. I don't think LA wants people to make any moves. Buffalo, I don't think necessarily has a need for another center here at this point, but I'm sure that there's a couple of other teams here out east that would be more than happy to be able to swing a deal. But yeah, he's another one who it just didn't work. I mean, if he wants people to stay, I just hope that he doesn't pull a John Mozeliak where it's like, well, we talked to him, he wants to stay. So we're gonna let him stay.
Yeah.
No, it works, man. I'm sorry. You're an asset. Move.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially with a roster full of modified no trades or full no trade clauses.
Yeah.
Open up space, and we have guys down in the minors that it may be a lot of growing pains, but open up the spot. And Buchnevich is miraculously playing decent at center right now. So I don't know there.
Yeah.
Incredible how things happen. Yeah. I agree with you. I think he needs to be traded. I love the guy. He had his kind of like breakout NHL season last year, and it was still flabbergasting Vancouver didn't re-sign.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have him on like a pretty good deal. I like the Minnesota idea, but trading in the Central, I don't think Armstrong can do it in his psyche.
Would you? So would you do it if you could somehow swing? This is a large swing, and I doubt. I mean, they're obviously not going to do this just for Pius Suter, but if they said, "Hey, we will make a deal that will send you Jesper Wallstedt."
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm making the deal.
100%.
Absolutely.
I'll send you Pius and Bennington for Wallstedt.
Yeah. So
I don't care.
There's always a deal to be made. There's always a deal.
Yeah, but I just don't think Doug or Steen would do it because I don't know. I have a weird feeling that in the back of their mind they still think we can be competitive next year. But I don't think so. I like Minnesota. I also like Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is kind of like a weird sleeper that needs one more guy. Like one more hurrah for Crosby and Malkin.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing well for some reason. Like them and the Islanders they need to keep adding if they can.
The Isles would be a sneaky addition here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's options. I think he's one of those guys that with his contract, with his trade protection status, I think it leaves the most variety in where you can send him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, Mikey, next one.
Let's do Braden Shen, bud. This one stinks because I am diehard Braden Shen. I have been since day one. He is a pro's pro. He's a great captain. He's a great person off the ice. We know that from stories from legit NHLers and ex-NHLers. But just it's that time. It's really just that time. We can't risk having the money on the books, and we can't risk not getting anything for him next year. So, I mean, at this point, I feel like he's a top 3 center trade candidate right now, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't really want it to happen. I wish he would just retire Blue, but if he gets sent out, obviously Vegas has been the rumor, Toronto as well, but I don't know how those teams are even going to swing it. Josh, you put the Capitals on here, and I kind of like that. I think that makes sense for them, but I also think their need is more in a scoring winger.
Yeah.
With term, which is why they were trying to get Panarin. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, what are you thinking, Mike?
Shen's a tough one to be able to move on from, and it's not that he's a bad captain by any means, but he's the captain that should have never been.
Yep.
Because you had Pietrangelo, because you had Ryan O'Reilly, like he's a guy who was absolutely a world-class alternate. and a locker room guy and a guy who's on the ice. And you know what? If this guy could, like, he absolutely embodies a captain mentality. It's like, yeah, but Ryan O'Reilly's captain, Alex Petrangelo captain. Like, yeah, absolutely. Again, I love him, but there's too much value that teams would want for him, and the problem though is Doug Armstrong is rightfully so asking for a lot in return for his players. I mean, you don't start low for any of these guys, and it's like, well, the price tag's gone up. Like, really? Because there's no reason why any of these guys' price tag should be going up, maybe other than Pavel Buchnevich. That's the only guy whose price tag I could see going up at this point. But Schenn he's the one that hurts, that you just think, yeah, you could be able to move on here from him, and I get it. But if we move on from the captain, I'm of the notion that you do not name a captain next year at all. You're in this transition period. I'm sorry, you just go with a bunch of A's and you just figure it out.
Yep.
And like, nothing says that you don't need to go an entire season without a captain, or maybe just name captain mid-season, whatever that it is. But I do not name that captain. But does Alexander Steen agree here with that notion? Because Steen, I know, loves those kinds of guys. He played here with Steen, like, or with Schenn. So is it going to be weird to trade him away? Is it like he knows the kind of guy who he is? So I don't know. He's in a weird position where you have to be able to make those tough calls. And I think that this is going to have to be a tough call that has to be made.
So that with you bringing that up, that was an interesting take that I was wondering. Does Doug just go about it in the current situation where I guess players left that played with Steen, Parayko, Schenn, Bennington, and Falk? I think that's it.
Thomas.
And Thomas, yeah. Do you try to move on from some of these guys so Steen's not left with hard decisions on having to move former teammates?
No, absolutely not. I mean, and especially to me, I don't think you move on from a Robert Thomas. I think he's absolutely a guy. I mean, unless your socks are totally blown off from this offer that says we can be able to move on from this one center, and in return we are getting two centers plus a goaltender, or something else. And you know what? By moving this one guy, we're getting three exceptionally good pieces, because it's going to make that rebuild process a little bit better. It's going to be able to, raise up the floor. It's going to do everything that it needs to here just by process of elimination. It's that addition by subtraction. I don't see a single need to be able to move on here from a Robert Thomas. Jordan Kyrou is a different story. We can get into that one here too. But Bennington's one who I think you field offers here for. Any of those vets, any of the remaining pieces here of that Stanley Cup team, I think you're at least fielding offers for.
Yeah, and he already did. He has been for years now. Tarasenko, O'Reilly, they're all gone. The Barbashev.
For better or for worse.
He's been doing it for years now, trying to figure it out. I agree. I think Steen is going to do good things, though. I have high hopes for him, for sure. I mean, did you have like a landing spot for Schenn? Did you have, besides like the rumor mill, Vegas, Toronto, like the two teams we would hate to see?
Yeah, I think it's all those guys. I don't see a surprise team coming out. I don't think he necessarily fits Utah's mold, because the bottom line here too is that you have to figure, okay, these guys have some bigger contracts, and yes, the salary cap is moving up, but these guys are making some sizable money here right now. And so depending on if Army and Steen here by extension are willing to retain money, that's going to change who's in play here right now. And I don't really see Army really wanting to be able to retain money for any of these guys.
Yeah.
Regardless as if you are in a rebuild here or not. If you do, okay, well, maybe, we're retaining 20-30% here, the remaining here of the season, next season, but we get back a first and a pretty solid prospect. Okay, well, let's talk. Who's the prospect? And is he ready next season here to be able to go? So that's where the conversation really lies.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised with the Panarin return. Now that you mentioned like first rounder and a prospect, like they got a pretty good prospect who's huge.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would have taken that
And-
prospect in a heartbeat.
But the pick, I was
Yes.
surprised with the late round pick or the mid round pick. I was expecting second, maybe first, but like third, I don't know. I felt like it was a little lower than expected, but also, Panarin's old.
Well, and from what I heard was that he really only wanted to go to LA.
Yep.
So this kind of reminds me of like a Nolan Arenado situation where he just says, "Hey, I only want to go to St. Louis. Hey, I only want to go to LA." Like, okay, well, I don't have
What's
to
your
move him,
best
but if you
offer?
want him,
Yeah.
like it's tough because it really is limiting what options that New York had.
Yeah, I couldn't believe Seattle tossed in that they would extend
That much
him
money.
4x14. I was like, Seattle's in? I loved it.
Seattle's got to be something.
Yeah,
They're in no man's land.
They're in a playoff spot playing like the most boring defensive hockey, I guess, like the Kings. And both those teams really wanted a scoring winger, and one of them got him.
Seattle's my under the radar trade target because I would love to try to acquire Matty Beniers.
Me too. We both love him.
Okay.
We
All right.
both love Matty Beniers.
Well, now that we brought up that, I want to know what you think it would take to get a Matty Beniers.
Ooh, man, because they don't need to move him out one bit.
No,
they don't need to at all. But I would be willing. I mean, you have a plethora of forwards that you can be able to pick here from. A wide range. And so to me, I don't know enough of what Seattle is needing in their team. For me, like they need something dynamic. I'm not sending a Jordan Kyrou. I'm not, like get out, I'm immediately hanging up the phone. But if you want to be able to talk to me about maybe a Koskemaki and a early pick here as well, or trading Adam Yeko, who's yet to be able to make his way here to the pros. One of these developing prospects, something like, okay, cool. Like let's talk here about some real tangible assets here for you, plus a pick or two, and let's get Matty Beniers. Because right now you do need that third line center.
Yeah.
And I think, Matty Beniers here's obviously he's that number one, but so maybe he's number two behind, or he flips, with Dalibor Dvorsky and Thomas here right now. Maybe he is just up anywhere from probably 2 to 3 here in that list. But yeah, that's a very, very interesting trade target. I think that the Blues should very, very much so be kicking those tires.
Yeah, he's been.
I love that idea.
I do too. His rookie year was great, right? Well, his sophomore, but full season, he was really good. Tapered off a little bit. Now he's playing like that first year again. 37 points in 56 games is pretty solid for a team that does not score. So pretty good numbers.
He came in a little too early for my take. I think that he should have done another year or two in the minors, but Seattle was looking for the guy. Like, here's the guy we drafted, and like I think they rushed him. I just do. And I think maybe with a little bit less pressure, maybe a little bit easier of assignments, the dude just thrives.
Oh yeah.
Because he's still very, very young, and he would fit this core something fierce.
Yeah, we love the guy so much.
Okay.
Right, so we're gonna do a petition: Blues for Beniers.
Hashtag Blues for Beniers. I'll tweet it out right now.
I'm all for it. We'll kind of move on here. I think some of the bigger names that I think a lot of people are talking about. We'll move over to Justin Falk. I think you have to move him. I think this is the highest his value is going to be, because I don't think the value you have right now is the same you get in the offseason.
No.
Okay. No. Everyone
Plus
on the same page on that? Yeah.
No, yeah, that's been true for a long time, ever since he started playing lights out this year, for sure.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of teams that need a right-handed scoring defenseman. And we know Detroit doesn't really like rentals. He would kind of be a rental, but at least they'd get him for another year.
You get 2 runs.
Right. And they did just extend Ben Shirai. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Ben Chiarot.
Chiarot. Ben Sherratt, so he's staying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe they're dabbling in that, but I don't know what they would want to send to us. What's Army's true price for Falk? Like, I don't know. Is he even worth like a prospect in a first? Probably not.
I think he is.
To me, it depends what you're trying to be able to get, because I don't like you need a goaltender. It's no offense here to Zarenko. It's no offense, but like Zarenko tops out here to me as a very streaky backup goaltender. You've got Will Cranley, who's still in the AHL. I'm sorry, in the ECHL. He's dabbled a little bit here in the A. I don't know really like what his upside's going to be. If he does make it to the show here one day, then like good luck here to you, man. I don't see him really being a consistent NHLer. He might be a decent AHLer, but I also don't know if Detroit would be willing to move on from a Sebastian Kosa, a Trey Augustine. You know, these are guys. Kosa here right now is playing in the AHL. He's got a 1.99 and a 9.26. I'm sorry, I'm not moving that. Yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm not moving that for Justin Falk. Like that's not happening. You know.
So what about? Sorry, you can go ahead.
Maybe if you package him, but you know, I don't know. I got to look a little more like into their goaltending depth. But obviously, you still have in the NCAA Trey Augustine.
I think they're extremely high on him over the other two.
Yeah,
but I mean, this Postava kid from the Czech National League is coming over here, and he's been playing good too. So they have three incredibly good goalie prospects. You can't fit three. So, I mean, would they be willing to move this Michael Postava? I mean, I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, and that's where it's tough. You know, they've got. I'm just looking like at their depth chart here right now. You've got Carter Gielander. I think that's how you pronounce his name. You know, he played 7 games here in the AHL, 157 and a 943. 16 games here right now in the ECHL, 245 and a 911. Like they've got good goaltending depth, and I think that goaltending should absolutely be a target for the Blues if they move Falk to Detroit.
100% agree.
They have a plethora of options. Take your pick at one.
Yeah. Postava has a 9.40 save percentage and a 1.63 goals against in 12 games in the A this year.
Also, and they're all in that the young 20s age where a couple more years and then they can be serviceable 1Bs. And that's when the decision for what you're doing with Binner is at that point. The other team for Justin Falk, I did wonder, I know the rumors were Florida. Does San Jose kick the tires on another vet guy that is a scorer that can eat minutes? And because, I mean, they waived Letty. They're in a weird spot. They have the cap to take him on. And I think all of these guys, no matter what, I don't see we're eating cap on any of them. We're not going to eat any of their salary because Armstrong doesn't do that.
Yeah. San Jose is tough. San Jose is tough here to be able to say because I don't know. I totally forgot that they have John Kleinberg.
Yeah.
He's injury prone, but having Orlov, Falk, Klingberg.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, so are you willing to take on another guy? I don't know. To me, that's not the direction that I want to be able to go. I mean, again, you've got these young guys, and you bring in another veteran defenseman. It just, to me, it doesn't really match. And maybe I'm crazy, and maybe that's just the direction they, for some reason, go. But I don't want. If I'm San Jose, I don't want another veteran defenseman.
Just Seattle?
Maybe. Blues for Beniers.
Yeah, for Beniers, well, you can work a package there to get a Matty, and because I don't think we're going for draft capital this year. Again, I think it's collegiate players that are close to making the move or prospects that are a year away.
Yeah,
and I wonder if that's a team, but I don't know.
Josh, you also put Toronto on this list.
Yeah,
and I think it might be the opposite for them. I think they're like looking to get rid of their vet D and just rebuild that defense. Because there's rumors Bobby McMahon's like out there and stuff like that, and Morgan Riley as well. But I think he's just a whipping boy for them this year since Marner's gone.
Yeah.
So
if this was last season, then sure.
Yeah.
But
same with Shen, I believe. Sure.
Yeah.
Because wasn't the package for Shen last year like Cowan and like a first or something wild?
Yeah, I heard it was nuts. The deal. Should have taken it.
Yeah, why not? Well, we came back and won 13 in a row. We had to compete.
Yep.
Had to compete.
All right. Last guy that we're going to kind of talk about, Jordan Kyrou. I have a package in my mind. Do I think it's a realistic one? No. It's Jordan Kyrou going to Dallas. And I know.
That would kill us for the next 6 years.
But it's involving us getting Robertson with an extension in mind. And I think I'm offering Robertson $10 million a year. I know this sounds crazy. I know this is a lot of question marks, but I think he could be the star you're waiting for.
What else are you sending with Kyrou?
Pio Suter.
Can Dallas afford this?
So I was trying to do numbers here.
Jim Nill, man, he's a smart GM.
He's gonna break out his 4-function calculator.
So Dallas currently sits at 3.2-ish million in cap space. So there's going to be some finagling here. Robertson's making $7.5 million, and this is going to involve Doug Armstrong retaining some money on Pio Suter. And this is where I'm willing to negotiate. We retain half of Pio Suter's contract. This is probably
I don't hate it.
EA
I don't
Sports
either.
Josh mode, but
it's totally an Xbox GM trade.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I don't think either one of those teams says yes.
Yeah.
Because we're going to see you several times throughout the season. And Lord knows that you're going to see goals against by Jordan Kyrou and goals against by Jason Robertson. You just will.
Oh yeah.
But I think if you're gonna trade out Jordan Kyrou, which I'm putting before the trade deadline, I know we weren't doing like percentages or anything like that. But like I'm giving him maybe like a 30% chance before the trade deadline. But I could see absolutely going as high as like 50 in the offseason. But I would also like to be able to see the Blues need help here on defense. And depending on what Buffalo does, right now, like you've got Alex Tuck, like on that right side, it's not great because you've got Alex Tuck and you've got who's it, Quinn? I think he's your second line.
Yep.
And you need something a bit more dynamic, something a little bit more to be able to complement Tage Thompson and be able to maybe just get some pressure here also off of Tage Thompson here as well. You know, just add another weapon. But I think at this point in time, maybe you also look at an Owen Power.
I would rather take Owen Power over Bowen Byram, in my opinion. I like the size on Owen Power over Bowen.
Yeah. Well, when you look at the salary, I think that they overcommitted, and I think that they're aware that they potentially overcommitted here to him, and he just has not looked great. I think the last time that I looked, he was not playing on. He's definitely not in their top pair. I think he's their second pair defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe he's getting any power play time. And I think he's just getting penalty kill. And I think a change of scenery, and I think St. Louis trading Jordan Kyrou for Owen Power. I think that could be a good change of scenery for both players. Like, you want to talk about a true hockey trade, move out both of them, because Owen looks like that he needs a change of scenery, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to work for long term unless something changes for Jordan Kyrou in St. Louis.
6'6", 225. Owen Power.
Give me him.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, he's a left shot, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but
But he plays offhand, it looks like. But also
But he plays on the right side.
Broberg has also played left and right side. So I do wonder if you would pull a deal like this, do you put Parayko Fowler together and then you put Owen Power and Broberg together?
I don't hate it.
Because I think
I
Broberg
don't hate
could
it.
offset some of the shakiness of Owen Power with his legs.
Yeah. I don't hate it. But it does give you, I think, what the Blues thought that they were going to have this season in their forward depth, and it gives you options.
Yeah.
It gives you that flexibility. It gives you the ability to be more fluid throughout the game, game to game, situation by situation. And I think that that's the part that I like the most.
Yeah.
I think that's what we have. And speaking of Thomas Bordlow here earlier, he's going to be making his Springfield debut here tonight, playing on the third line here with Akil Thomas and Dylan Dubé.
nice.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, get him in there, get him playing.
Bunch of newbies on the same line. All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good for that. I don't know how, my mind hates thinking about a 35 goal scorer being gone. I just
Oh, absolutely. Because
He's the
who
only
are you going to
one.
replace him with?
The Ivar Stenberg or McKenna.
we're still not sure though. Like
Yeah.
that's just not the sure, you know?
Yeah.
Give
You know
me,
what I
give
hate
me,
is
give me
that
the
the
piss
Blue-
and vinegar Kevin McKenna here now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
We were talking about that earlier. 11 out of 10 times I'm drafting him now after I hear what happened.
I still would have. If the Blues had the second overall draft pick, I mean, and Tankathon, wonderful website for those people who want to be able to keep track of where the Blues potentially are going to be falling. I pound that draft sim, the sim lottery button over and
Oh,
over
I do
and over
too.
and over and over. The problem though is we keep dropping to 4.
We do. And it stresses me out because it has teams that the NHL likes always jumping above us.
Just goes to show.
That's where I think that the Blues might end up getting a Chase Reed, a Verhoff, and it's going to be a defenseman that you're going to be getting instead of a forward.
Which it's hilarious because I just simmed it and we did drop to 4 again. So
It's not going to work out, guys. We're not trading Jordan Kyrou.
Tankathon knows. Tankathon knows.
Dude, I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it personally, but I understand it from a business standpoint because, I mean, the fans just hate him. I don't 50% of the fan base just cannot stand him, and it's really depressing.
And it's a weird spot.
It's terrible.
Will it hurt us in the long run potentially? But I also think for his career and his psyche, I think he needs to change. And I think
I can agree with
Buffalo
that.
might be a great place and great fit for him because he's not gonna. He'll be in that second tier that is just going to be contributing and not getting hated on.
Yeah,
I can.
I think what we will get in return, I don't think fans are going to hold it against him either. It's not like Owen Powers is probably their third defenseman that the fans love there. You have Rasmus Dahlin that they're going to be happy that they have. You have Bowen Byram that I think at that case you're keeping him, and you have Kessler.
And they have Samuel, how do you pronounce his name? Samuelson?
Yeah.
Who's actually performing much better this year, too. So,
and it just seems like Owen Power is the one who's kind of getting that reduced role.
Fizzled, yeah.
Yes. Yep.
But is that just 1-for-1? It's got to be, right?
I think you might see maybe a swap of picks and or prospects that
Joshua Dunn.
Yeah.
Bring home
Josh Dunn. Throw in Josh Dunn.
Fourth line center, baby.
Take the trade.
We'll
give you Sonny and Kyrou, and we'll take Dunner and Power.
Dude, draw it up. I'm down.
Honestly, I think that, but realistically, that helps both teams. Josh is a big guy that could fill in. He's played NHL minutes. He's produced in the AHL.
Yeah.
Who fits that Torpo Walker mentality.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And we're biased. We've had him on the show. We love Josh. He's great.
St. Louis, baby.
St. Louis boy, and I think that's also you're looking for a little spark to the fan base, and if you're bringing home a hometown kid, I think that also helps his cause. So,
Yep.
I think that's a good little decision there. I will end it with an idea.
We're just making all the deals, guys. Like,
we're making
just
all
give
the deals.
us, just
Honestly,
give us the reins.
The three of us are taking over as Blues management guys. We're just announcing it live here today for you. So look for the announcement next week when they come back.
Now, like if we look at it all here together, we've acquired Matty Beniers, Owen Power, and Josh Dunn.
We're good.
You're welcome, St. Louis.
And our next goalie prospect from Detroit.
There you go.
And goalie
there
prospect.
You go.
So,
man.
I think we're in an interesting state of the team. I think a lot of moves I hope we're going to actually do stuff. Realistically, we're probably going to be an off-season merchant that's selling off in the off-season, and we're doing a rebuild partially.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we're at. The last guy that's not a Blue that I just want to hear your thoughts on is a guy that we could acquire. I like Zach Whitecloud in Calgary. He was involved in the Rasmus Anderson trade. He's a right-handed shot. He's 29 years old. He's a big body. He's making like $2 million and some change. Would that be a guy you'd be interested in adding to this mix? I mean, he's young enough that he can still play. You can get some good serviceable years out of him, but he's not a prospect and he's not an older player that's a vet.
Yeah. Anybody who I think could give a little bit of hesitancy from guys from parking in front of the net here for us, I'm all about here right now. Because the Blues right now don't have a single person that forwards or just, anybody. Shoot, the opposing goalie could come down and at this point, and I think that they'd be like, we're pretty good. We're pretty good. Yeah. And you just don't have anybody who's on the ice here right now that teams are afraid of. And I'm not saying that Zach Whitecloud needs to be able to get into fights and scraps and stuff here every single day, but you just need somebody, man. Like I'm so sick and tired of seeing the Blues just get pushed around. And God knows, that you're going to have Shen fight. Neighbors is more than willing to be able to drop the gloves, and you've seen a couple of other guys who can, but man, you don't need these guys here to be able to just drop the gloves every single game. You just don't. But you do need a guy who's willing to run a guy here through. You need a guy who's going to draw here at the opposing team. You need a guy who's just going to strike just a smidge bit of hesitancy here into each of their games. And I think maybe a Whitecloud could be able to start doing something like that, or at least get the train in motion here with this. But it just, you need a different look. And if bringing in Zach Whitecloud's going to be able to bring in a different look, then I'm all for it.
Yeah. I
always liked him.
And in my opinion, I don't think we have a prospect right now that I think if he comes up is going to be a guy that's going to be willing to run someone to like put the fear in people. Like we don't, maybe Dylan Peterson,
Leo Luff. And there was one other guy here that I was thinking of. I'm blanking here on it. Burns. He's not ready yet. Quentin Burns. Keep your eye here on Quentin Burns.
Okay.
I have a couple more things. Who are your picks for the Olympics? You're probably biased like us.
So Italy.
Yes. Hey, the women won their first game. Hey.
Yes.
That's why I'm rocking the hat.
There you go.
Shout out to the Italian women in hockey. Let's go. Give us your Olympic picks for the men's and women, and then I have one more thing to say after you say.
I think it's going to be really tough for the women's. I don't want to just be completely like, oh yeah, it's just going to be Canada versus US, but like it's going to be Canada versus US here when it comes down to that. Like those two are both just absolutely rock star teams, and I love every bit here of it. I showed my kids at least just the replay of the USA game, and I loved being able to see Joy get her goal.
Yeah.
Another St. Louis or at least Missouri.
Counted St. Louis.
St. Louis, yeah. I love being able to see that influence that's happening, and you can be able to just root for them. The men's is where it's going to be interesting. Because the United States left off several people, but so did Team Canada. Sweden's always been pretty deep, but I think it's going to be one of those three powerhouses that's going to end up taking it home. I want to be biased and say it's going to be Team USA, so I'm just going to continue to rock Team USA. But again, Team Canada is, and again by extension, Sweden is just going to give them a run for their money every single game, every single shift. So this is going to be a very, very interesting Olympics because you have yet to see a bunch of these guys play at the international stage together, and a lot of these guys haven't played internationally since they played in World Juniors.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun to see here as well.
That's the difference between Canada and the US, man. Like, just having Crosby is a difference maker.
The leadership core Canada is showing up with, I think, is better in my opinion than Team USA. I think we have more spark plugs on Team USA, but I think the vets that have been there, done that have won that gold or won that silver medal or still are angry about losing to Canada, I don't think we have anyone coming back on the team from that team.
I don't think so.
I mean, Ryan Suter was playing defense for USA.
TJ Oshie.
He was a dog. He was great.
TJ Sochi.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's going to come down to which team's goalies show up. I think it's going to be a battle of some world-class goalies in this Olympics. What Bennington do we see? Is Bennington the starter kind of thing? And then for Team USA as well.
Needs to be.
I don't think he should be. I think Logan Thomas is your starter.
You know what's funny is Marc-Andre Fleury was just talking to Chicklets, and he says it's Bennington. No matter what.
Everyone has said Bennington. Everyone has said it's Bennington, national broadcast. And they're just saying the Blues suck, and this is why they're doing it.
We're talking about Marc-Andre Fleury. Like,
I know.
Hall of Famer. If he's saying it, then it's pretty much he's saying it. Like, that's it.
At least they're going to start with him. I could see them starting with him, and you're going to see Canada erupt. Just look outside, and you're going to see a bunch of smoke because every single person is just going to riot in Canada.
Yeah, you'll see. I think you'll see LT get a start in the preliminary games or whatnot, maybe even Kemper. But other than that, I guarantee you it's Bennington. So,
also, while we're in the Olympics, before you jump next, my boy Seth Jarvis, rightfully so, will be playing for Canada. I was mad that he was not initially on the main roster. He deserves to be there. I am pumped to see him play.
Yeah, him and Bennett being on the team makes sense to me. So I'm glad they're both there. Yeah. 2 spark plugs.
Yep.
That's what they need sometimes.
Yeah. Last thing I wanted to mention was the 3 Alberta players that passed away in the tragic car accident. Cameron Casoro, JJ Wright, and Caden Fine. Just rest in peace. I know the hockey community is super tight knit. A lot of people have been talking about it. Just we're praying for the families, of course. Just hate to see another tragedy like that. It's crazy. Just tell everyone you love them and your hockey family too. Like it's love doesn't have to be in the blood. So just rest in peace. And that was all I wanted to say. If you guys have anything else related to hockey talk, if not, I'm good.
Yeah, no. Thank you again, Mike, for hopping on. And I mean, if you got any last minute thoughts, go right ahead. But I think we've solved the problem of the Blues organization. We'll be waiting for our paycheck in the mail from the Blues.
God, I need it.
Yeah.
No, this was great. Always happy to be able to hop on here with you guys. As we can be able to see, the Blues have a lot of issues that are coming up, and I'm hoping that there's going to be some band-aids and hopefully, just more long-term solutions that are going to be put in place. But there's going to be some growing pains, and I think that there's going to be some ugly decisions that have to be made. The fans may or may not be happy here with, but it's all for the better because right now you've got a team who is currently operating with 2 different timelines, and you're seeing both of them on the ice at the exact same time. And so as bad as these losses here are, again, we're tanking, we're losing, we're bettering our chances here to be able to get, a top pick here in this coming draft. It's good. It's great. But I also want to be able to make sure that we're continuing to see the growth and development here from these young guys. That's the most important thing that I want to be able to see here that's on this ice every single night. And that's what you're seeing here every single night from Dvorsky. When Stenberg here is playing, you're seeing Snuggerud. He was, I think he went into the break with a 6 or 7 game streak. So
yeah, yes,
just phenomenal stuff. You're starting to be able to see good stuff here most of the time here from Joel Hofer. Just the stats don't always reflect that. Again, that's also a byproduct of the defense that's in front of him. But I think that you're seeing the core here that's really, really coming in front of you. And that's just the most important thing. If you're interested here and looking just further into like the Blues prospects, Blues commentary, anything, obviously keep listening here to these guys. They just do such an amazing job. It's wonderful. Any single time that, you know, their podcast here comes up, I get a little ding on my phone and they're like, okay, cool. New podcast. Let's go. But feel free if you guys want to listen to the written content or listen to the written, if you guys want to read the written content, head on over to STL Sports Central. We've got stuff here, not just for the Blues, but for SLU and the SLU, Mizzou, Cardinals for what that's going to be worth. You know, anything St. Louis sports here related. And then obviously we do Blues post games. Yeah, all over. So feel free to come in, just hop on in here to the conversation. And you know, we don't have a separate podcast, so at times we kind of get into like our podcast type thoughts, but we're always happy to talk here with fans about what happened with the game, what happened with this week, what happened with this recent news, you know, and it's just a bunch of people just hanging out, just chatting Blues hockey here. You know, so love it. Love you guys. Thanks so much here for always having me.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, man. It's been a whirlwind that we were all kind of starting out roughly at the same time, and look at us now. So thanks again, Mike. We appreciate you. We love you, man. And let's go Blues, guys.
Yeah, let's go Blues.